Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Cutlery. Hey, today we're bringing you the CQT Magnum from Tops Knives. Now, this is a collaboration between Tops and Fox Knives over in Italy. Y'all know I love my Italian-made knives. This is a collab. Before we get too far into it, 22 veterans a day take their own lives. That's on the low end. Vets, I love you. You have a place here. Please don't fight this fight alone. We back to blue over here. We sport Leo. How do you do that, Scab? Well, we don't break the law best we can. And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. Well, I got this knife from my guy Jimbo. Jimbo got it from someone else. So I'm at least the third owner of this knife. Knife came pretty sharp. Pretty sharp. I'm going to go ahead and say that now. Before anybody asks, it came to me without the coating on it. Normally this does come with a coating. I believe it runs anywhere from 150 to 160, something like that. I like this knife. Soon as Jimbo got it, I wanted it. Life happened and he said, hey man, I'm not using it as much. I'd like to get rid of it. Do you want it? I said, hell yeah. So I picked it up from Jimbo. Jimbo, thank you, my brother. Now, one thing I want to say about it is this. It is a large knife. It's a beast of a knife. It really is. It's a big folder. You see there the size of the handle. At the handle length, let me pull it up here, is almost 5 3/4 inches. That's a massive handle, but it fits very, very comfortably in hand. It contours to the hand very well. The blade is made of N690 and is 4.5 inches long with about a 4 3/8 cutting surface on it. It does have a sharpening choil. Now, in Florida, 4.5 is the max, so I can carry this legally in the pocket. It's a big blade, beast of a blade, American Tonto style. I love Italian-made knives. Now, that's not to say that I don't love it. Somebody the other day took it that I didn't love American-made. I carry an Emerson everywhere I go. I do love American-made and buy it as much as I can. But if I had to pick a number 2, it would be Italian-made. And Fox Knives actually made this. I love this knife. Now, this is going to be a straight-up pocket knife review, meaning we're going to do some of our basic tests. We're going to cut a bunch of mediums. I wanted to show you how the folder functioned. It works very well. Here we're doing a little fat wood. I'm getting ready for my 2,500 subscriber camping trip, which Megatron is just loving the idea of. Now, I may have to get a little backup to go with me. Megatron cannot, because we have 2 rescue dogs that are idiots and you cannot leave them alone. But we'll see. At 2,500 subscribers though, I'm going camping on that little island and I'm excited about it. So I'm carving up some fat wood, getting it ready. The thing about this knife, guys, the reason I love the handle, it's big, it's comfortable, it's got some aggressive jimping on the back. Now, for some, the blade's going to be a little space agey. I get it. I like the looks of it. I don't know why. It's just something that speaks to me. I like the American Tonto style. I have not always liked them, but I'm becoming more and more a fan of it. Now, this thing, the only knock on it, if I was going to have a knock, it is ambidextrous thumb studs, ambidextrous pocket clip. However, it's tipped down. It's a small thing. I don't really get much into that whole debate. It doesn't really bother me, honestly, but it is tipped down. My druthers would be tip up, not a big deal. Here we're doing the Donnie B all day stab test, the Donnie B all day throw it at the stump test, and the Donnie B all day drop test. Now, D-Bad is sailing towards 10,000. He's over 7. Let's get him to 10,000, guys. There's going to be some monumental giveaways at that point. And that's just something we ought to do. The more people that subscribe, the more you're able to do on YouTube. So Donnie's going to 10,000. Let's get him there. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to do the throw it at the stump test, this is a liner lock. All right. So yeah, we want to test the tip. Yeah, we want to test the edge, and the balance. But I wanted to see if that lock would fail. It did not. Now, here's a piece of fat wood that my guy Keith Carpenter sent me from his new property in Washington. So we're going to use this knife. We're going to process it up. Now, somebody will say, Scab, that's a fighting knife. Well, you know, again, they've outlawed knife fighting several hundred years ago. So, can't really do anything about that. I'll take it on my camping trip with me, and if I happen to get in a sandbar fight, I'll try to video it best I can. So, having said all that, I'll say this. It's a damn good knife. It held up very well. Now, these little tests I do, this little review I do, guys, is not to make the knife fail. It's not to make the knife look bad. It's not to make the knife look good. It's everyday shit we all do. It's everyday stuff a knife guy does. If it's cutting, I know a lot of y'all don't baton, and I don't baton. If you want the truth, I've got 9,000 tomahawks, atches, machetes. I don't know what an atch is. I've got an axe. But for this test, if you had to, because what do we always talk about? What's the number one? Well, if the apocalypse happened. I'm not really going to worry about processing wood right up front, but if the apocalypse happened and all I had was this knife, it's good to know I can. Y'all see a bunch of shavings flying off there. Again, I like the jimping on the back of the handle. You can hold it several ways. Doing the stab test, and we added a little stab test for one of the subscribers, and I'll talk to you more as we get to that. No hot spots on the handle. None. It's a big handle, plenty of room, contours. It's got, I won't call it a choil, but it's kind of a choil up near the front or up near the top of the handle, which really just helps contour to your hand. Now, we're doing the Tower of Doom here. The knife really didn't have any problem cutting it up. I'm going to have to get a new Tower of Doom before too long. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have Diablo. I'm trying to sell it now. I think it's gone. So I'll have to find a spot for my Towers of Doom. But you see right here, it doesn't have any real problem cutting it up. Again, we wanted to cut all kind of different mediums. And again, right here now, the thing is this, I'm out of position. I tried to do some of these tests out of position. We don't strap things down or tie things down or lock things in. I want to show y'all how you would use the knife in a real situation. Real situations aren't perfect. There's a good look at the knife there. Thumb studs on both sides. Now, what I did was I cut up a bunch of this tire, or, you know, tried to cut up a bunch of tire. The knife really had no problem. Again, out of position. I've got T-Rex arms, so I'm up on my tippy toes here, but knife performed beautifully. What I did was I cut a bunch of pieces of tire, taped them together. My guy John Peters was like, man, you ought to stab some taped up pieces of tire. So I'm calling it the JP stab test. We'll get to that in a minute. And I think it's a good test. It's something you can just rear back, stab the knife into, and see how it functions. Now right here, doing some stabbing. Now this tire's cut. So you say, Scab, what does that matter? Well, if it was in one piece, it'd probably fly right through there. But there's a lot of give, there's a lot of bend. Still got about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of penetration. American Tontos are made for stabbing. Now, I lost that piece, praise the Lord, and I wasn't going to run my hand up in there because I don't know, God knows how many black widows and brown recluses and all that's in there. So we're not doing that. We'll just cut us another piece. Again, no hot spots. I think the knife held up very, very well. Right here, there was just a little shrubbery right here that needed to go. You see right there, the knife's not bad. 4.5 inch blade. Is it a chopper? No. Can it chop? Yeah. You see right here, it cleared this brush pretty good, guys. I was really, really somewhat surprised and impressed. Now, it's just little twigs, and it's briars, and it's vines, and it's different crap that's going to have to go anyway. But the knife held up really, really well. When I say held up, it swung well. It's got a thin enough blade that it just kind of sliced right through there. Good looking knife. Love the knife. Great carry. Now, here we go. Here's the JP stab test. That's for John Peters. Good look at the knife again. Let's see what we got right here. Not bad. when we realize that's a bunch of sidewall tape together, guys, and I just dropped my baton, which doesn't mean anything, that's a tough stab, honestly. And I'm bringing some pretty good force down on it. Now, no hot spots, no slippage, and I think that's the beauty of the handle being contoured in that way. My hand didn't slip at all, felt really, really comfortable. No damage to the tip. I'm showing you there about a 1/4 inch. Now, here's a little piece of sidewall right here. Let's just see what we got. Straight through it, no problem. None. So, it stabs. We had no chips, no dents, no dings, no nothing to the blade. It held up incredibly well. There's some of that old polypropylene rope. We're going to cut up a bunch of paracord right here. Just this 550 paracord. Now, we cut up the tire. I actually spent a couple hours out today, and I've had this thing for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I've carried it a lot. Y'all have seen it in some shorts and things like that. I like this knife. It carries well. Like I said, it's a beast of a knife, but honest to God, it doesn't carry that way. It contours to the pocket. I'm saying that word contours a bunch. It's like I learned a new word or something. But it fits the pocket very, very well. The blade, the N690, I'm a fan of. Held up very, very well. Now here's some of that old polypropylene rope that I hate. It's just plastic rope. I know what polypropylene is. For those of you furiously typing, it is kind of a pain in the butt, but the knife didn't have any real problem going through it. Now, like I said, I'm about the 3rd owner. I stropped this knife before we come out and did the testing. So overall, I'm very, very impressed with the edge. Like I said, 3rd, 4th owner, something like that. I cut the tire of doom a bunch. We batoned some fat wood. And here's just like a basic quick stick. The tip on this thing is pointy as hell, which it's supposed to be, but I'm just saying, it's really, really, really made for stabbing, and it does a really good job on it. Now, I like doing these, watch this right here, just straight up slice. Got a couple quick clean cuts with that 2nd point. Overall, I'd give this knife high markings. I love the knife. I'm going to carry the knife. It's comfortable. Now, we do this water hose test, and again, I'm not the best water hose cutter. I would say of any knife I've used thus far, I think the CQT probably did the best job on the water hose. Now, when we get down to these smaller parts, I got to tug a little more. That's more me being able to hold it. And you see right there, this old rubber, not a problem. Not a problem whatsoever. Well, guys, we've got about 30, 40 seconds left. Let me go ahead and wrap this thing up. Now, here's another thing, too. I mentioned this the other day. I try to open and close the knife one-handed throughout the video. All throughout the video. Just to show you ease of opening and closing, ease of function. This knife being huge, still, it worked very well. Listen. My guy Mikey says it best. He says, Scab, everything's going to be all right. And Mikey's true. I'm Scab. You're not. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like, smash, and subscribe. I'm gone, son.